What's going on, everybody? Cigar Show Tim here with Tobacco Talk Media with another edition of Tobacco Talk, where I review a cigar and then I give you my thoughts on it in 4 key areas: flavor, draw, construction, and burn. It's everything you want to know about that cigar, but it's from my palate's perspective, and then I rate it as to whether I think it's nub-worthy or not. So the cigar for this review, quite honestly, is one that a lot of people are talking about. They're trying to get their hands on it. There isn't enough produced. How are we going to get it? When am I going to get mine in? I want to order it. How many am I allowed to order? Blah, 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 on, and it just keeps going. Well, I've got one that came in my BL Luxuries box for the month of November, so I figured let's review it and let all of you know what the newest release from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust is like. This is none other than the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Muestra de Saca Krakatoa. 6x48, as it says right there on the side, and it comes in this coffin with the volcano and the plume of smoke just above it. But I'll open up the coffin, I'll show you what's inside, and then we'll go through the cigar together. But if we're going to review it, there's only one thing left to do. Let's light it up. All right, let's jump right into it. Here's the coffin that this cigar comes in, as you can see right there. Muestra de Saca, the volcano right there. When you open it up, ta-da! You get the cigar inside, the 6x48. And inside in the plastic, obviously in the cello still, it has the cigar right here with a bit of a pigtail cap, as you can see right there without the glare. So let's go ahead and take it out of the cello, and then I'll show you what it looks like, and we'll just keep going through it one layer at a time, kind of like peeling an onion. Okay, here is what it looks like right there. You can see down here at the what is the ribbon foot band, which really is the only band on here, the primary band. I did see a fellow reviewer, Cowboy. You guys probably all know about Cowboy. If you don't know about him, go and subscribe to him. Saw him smoking this at a lounge recently, and he just slid the footband ribbon up and made it work for him. And it is not wanting to cooperate a whole lot for me. All right, so I went ahead and just peeled off this band. Whoop! Krakatoa, as it says right there, as you can see, on the yellow, golden yellow colored band. And here is the cigar. You'll be able to see right there. There is the pigtail cap I was mentioning just a second ago right there. So let's go ahead and let's see actually if the pigtail cap, if you pull it off, did that. Let's see if it gives you much of a draw. I'm not thinking it opened it up enough. Pretty close, but I'm going to cut it just to be safe. Okay, on the cold draw, I'm picking up like a musty soil, musty fresh turned soil kind of note in there. A little bit of that dried fruit and a little bit of leathers coming through in the cold draw. Well, let's toast her up. Okay, upon initial light up, I am picking up quite a few different notes that are in some ways very stereotypical of many Saka cigars. So I'm getting a lot of rich earth. There's some really nice black roasted coffee that's in there, which is really good. And then just like a deep woodiness, some oakiness that's in there, and a little bit of leather. So I'm going to jump into the first third. When I come back, I'll let you know the blend on this cigar. We'll talk more about it, how it's been treating me, flavor notes, all that good stuff. Well, I got to get through the first third first. So here we go. All right, let me show you the burn here at the end of the first third. So we look here, we can see that the wrapper did split. It split not long after lighting. A couple draws into it. I was pretty bummed about it, but I held it with my fingers right there where it is now to try and terminate it and stop it from, well, cracking and splitting more. So far, it looks like I'm being pretty successful with it, but time will tell on it. Okay, let's get into the blend of the cigar, and I'm taking this information from Blind Man's Puff, some fellow content creators, cigar reviewers, some buddies of mine, as far as the blend and a little bit of information on it. So the blend on this, it uses a grade A1 Ecuador Habano seed wrapper leaf with Nicaraguan sun-grown binders and fillers that include Nicaraguan grown broadleaf, Cuban seed criollo, and corojo ligero. So that's the blend on the cigar. It is a 6x48, as the side of the coffin says, and it comes with a unique, I call it a pigtail, but according to this Blind Man's Puff article, it says that it's a volcano or spiral colita head. So colita meaning head, a spiral head. So that's the blend on it. Let's get into the flavor notes in this first third. So the earthiness was still there, but a little bit of sweetness started to come in towards the end of the first third. There was some nice like sweet tobacco notes in there. That coffee note is still in there as well. It's just a straight like, pull of espresso, coffee, cafe kind of flavor note with that coffee. It's not a creamy coffee, nothing like that at all. And those are the two most prominent flavor notes. The wood did taper down and it became much more of like a cedar wood instead of a little bit stronger like an oak, a richer wood like it was upon initial light up. So we'll see if that will change, if it will develop more, if it'll get richer, darker, bolder in the flavors. Strength on this right now, I would say, is probably starting off at a medium minus. Not very strong. And we'll see. A lot of Steve Saka's cigars tend to go a little bit more to the medium plus and full end. We'll see if this one gets there. I don't know, but time will tell on that one. So I'm going to jump into the second third. When I come back, I will let you know about any flavor transitions, what's going on with it, any other information I think you might need to know. But here's to the second third. All right, let me show you the burn here at the end of the second third. Fortunately, holding my finger on the wrapper stopped any more splitting from taking place. So that's a good thing. Ash holds on for about an inch or so before falling off, but the smoke output is absolutely plentiful, which is really good. Okay, flavor notes in the second third. They developed a little bit more. There's a nice cocoa chocolate note that's coming in. The espresso is very much still in the forefront of that flavor profile in the second third. And there's a little bit of black pepper that's starting to come in the second third as it finishes up now. It's not much on the retrohale. It doesn't make your nostrils tingle. It's not going to make your eyes water. Nothing like that at all. But there's some noticeable black pepper in the second third, especially when you retrohale, with that cocoa note and with that espresso coffee note that I mentioned in the first third. That's really been the prominent flavor note in it. So in an article from smokin.com, it's said in there that this cigar comes from some of the fan favorite tobacco that Steve has used in some of his blends in the past, and that it's a powerful blend. The name Krakatoa, where does it come from? So Krakatoa is the name of a volcano that sits in Indonesia between Sumatra and Java, and in 1883 it had one of the largest eruptions in modern history, and because of the eruption of flavor and all those different things, according to what Smokin has on their website, that is the reason behind the name for the cigar of Krakatoa. Strength on this, I would say it's a good solid medium now. It's ramped up just a little bit, but it has not gotten crazy strong whatsoever. Very nice, very smooth. There's also a really nice savory note that's in there as it finishes off. It's not a toasted note, but there's just a really nice savory note that's in there as it balances its way out as it goes through the long finish. So it's doing really well so far. The draw is doing very well for a smaller ring gauge cigar. It's not really tight packed to try and get all the tobacco leaves in there, but it's not also really, airy and wispy in terms of the draw on it. It is very nice. It's pretty much right where I like it. So that is doing well so far in the second third. I'm going to jump into the final third. When I come back, I'll let you know of any changes in the flavor profile, the strength, all those other different things, and let you know, of course, whether I think the cigar is nub-worthy or not. All right, let me show you the burn here at the end of the cigar. You can see right here, it is doing very well. That one little part that's just flaking on the wrapper. Otherwise, everywhere else around it, it is doing very, very well with the burn line. Ash still holds on for about an inch to an inch and a quarter before I tap it off. It did fall off once right onto my table. Fortunately, not on me. But the ash holds on about inch and a quarter is as long as I've been able to get it. So, flavor notes in this final third. They continue to get more towards what I would say is Steve Saka's signature full-bodied depth and richness and all those different things. So I'm getting that black pepper. It has definitely ramped up quite a bit more. There's a little bit of spice on the palate when you blow out the smoke. There's a little bit more when you retrohale. Still not to the level of tingling and just crazy obscene, eye-watering, but it's definitely there. That chocolate cocoa note is still there, and that espresso note is absolutely still there with all of the different other flavors that I mentioned. And then there's still a really nice savory sweetness. The sweetness is almost like a sweet tobacco kind of note, but there's just a nice sweetness that goes with it that balances everything else out. And that cedar wood is definitely there on the long finish. It's really the only time I pick it up after I retrohale and give it the long finish. That's when that nice savory note comes in along with that cedar note that's in there. So with this cigar, with the intention behind it, with the 3 years that it took Steve Saka to produce it, and let me mention the number of boxes initially run is 3,000. There were 3,000 boxes created. There's 7-count boxes, and they're about $145.25 MSRP. So you break that down, it's about a $20.75 cigar. So not an inexpensive cigar. That's why I was pretty bummed when the wrapper split right there at the beginning. Fortunately, it corrected itself, it burned through it, and we made do by holding onto it so it wouldn't continue splitting up the cigar, and it held on and did very well. So with the price point, with the flavor notes, with all of that, do I think this is an upworthy cigar? It's really a borderline toss-up for me. It's going to really come down to your palate and your experience. Obviously, the wrapper splitting didn't help the experience overall. But with the flavor notes, I'm not a fan of the really, really dark, deep flavor, like super full-bodied cigar notes that are in a lot of the Steve Saka cigars. But this one didn't get that rich and that deep. And so for me, the strength on this overall, I would say, is probably about a medium plus, more of a solid medium, but if you're newer to cigars, it's going to be a little bit more on the medium plus end, in my opinion, from my experience. But whether or not I think it's nubworthy, I'm going to say that this is nubworthy because I enjoyed the flavor notes in it. And the pepper didn't ever become overpowering. The coffee note really carried its way through the entire cigar, and that was really what I enjoyed. It made the experience that much better because the pepper didn't overpower the wood that was at the beginning that was a little bit richer. It lightened up, and so it was a really good experience for me. But you're going to have to decide for yourself as to whether or not you think this is nubworthy and something you want to go back to. But I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. Have you had the Krakatoa yet? Have you been able to find it? Have you been able to get it for yourself? I know that they've been pretty hard to get, and with what they've been able to put out and how quickly they've jumped off the shelves, the online retailers, the virtual shelves, as well as the brick and mortar shelves, a lot of people are looking forward to getting this cigar still. Let me know in the comments. If you've had it, let me know your take on it. Was your experience similar to mine? Did you have different flavor notes? Whatever it may be, I'd love to know what your take is on this Krakatoa, or if, based on the flavor notes I described, if it's something that you want to pick up, you want to go check out. If you're a diehard Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, cigar enthusiast, then I don't think this is going to be a cigar that you have any problems with, that you don't care for. I think it's going to be a really good, just middle of the road, and not in a negative way, but a really good middle of the road cigar that Steve has put together, the 3 years that it took and everything that went into it. He wanted to make sure that this was done well, and in my opinion, it has been done well. The price point, as far as justifying getting more of these cigars, that's really up to you. For me, at a $20 price point, a little north of $20, and here in California being well north of $20, I don't know that this is something that I'm going to run out and try and get as many as I can and have it all the time, but it's definitely an enjoyable cigar. So let me know your thoughts. I'd love to get your take on it as well. Steve, if you ever see this video, appreciate the cigar and what you put into it and everything that went into the process and the naming and all those different things. I enjoyed it. Good cigar, and well done. Yeah. Not a lot of the stuff that you put out is right up my alley in terms of my palate, but this one did really well. So that's going to do it for this edition of Tobacco Talk. Enjoy your cigar journey, everybody. I'm Cigar Show Tim. As always, I'll see ya.